So welcome everyone to today's Seawolf Q&A on academic success. My name is Megan DeJoya. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I work in the Office of New Student Programs. During our presentation today, it's going to be a little bit more panel style. You'll hear from a few different areas on campus that we consider keys to academic success. There are many other academic resources available, but for the purpose of this program, we've only highlighted 4 of the frequently used departments or frequently accessed departments to help welcome you to the university. We have both students and family members on this call, so we might be speaking a little bit from both perspectives depending upon who's in the audience or who's watching the recording. There is a Q&A button somewhere on your Zoom webinar that you can actually ask us questions in live time. So we have people on screen and off screen to answer any of the questions that you do have. We've got all different staff members and students to offer a variety of perspectives as well. I want to draw attention to one really important resource that is helpful for everyone to get to know is our Coming Back Safe and Strong website. So if you go to the main Stony Brook website and you click on the right below the banner image or right below the image, there'll be something called Coming Back Safe and Strong. And from there, you can find out a lot of updated information or updates to information as new information becomes available regarding COVID-19 accommodations, adjustments, policies, procedures, things like that. So great, I already see some questions starting to come in, so we'll get started answering those in a few minutes. And we'll go ahead and get started. So again, we are the New Student Programs Office, but we are working in partnership with many of the campus resources that you see on the screen here to be able to bring you the information for today. And we'll also have our PALs or our peer assistant leaders who are students available to answer questions from the student perspective as well. So with that being said, we're going to start off with our Academic and Transfer Advising Services Office.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Shelene Henderson, and I'm the Assistant Director in Academic and Transfer Advising Services, also known as ATAS. So what my department does, we are one of the university's advising offices, and we work with all transfer students, and then we also work with juniors, seniors, and sophomore students. What our department does, it's advising. So we help students with registration, helping them understand what courses they should be taking each semester. We also help students do academic planning in case they want to see, okay, I'm here now, I'm a sophomore, what do I need to get to senior year to graduate? We also act as a guide for students. Sometimes students just don't know where to go for help, and we are happily able to sit down with them and help them choose the resources on campus to help them make them successful. We meet with students every day. We have appointments right now with COVID. So our students can meet with us virtually. They make appointments through Navigate. And when we come back for the fall semester, we may be opening it up to do in-person and virtual advising. So if students have a question, they're more than welcome to make an appointment with us. Some tips I will give away right away is for students, if students have questions, we tell them, come see us. If you don't know the answer, if we don't know the answer, we'll definitely help you find the answers, but most likely students sometimes have questions and they're scared to ask for help. Any questions, please come see us. The other thing I give students is that they should make sure that they meet with their advisors frequently. Your student will have a team of advisors here. We represent general advising, so we go over with them with the number of credits, transfer credits, general education curriculum, but they will also have major advisors and minor advisors and pre-professional advisors, depending on what your students' academic goals are. And we tell students to take full advantage of their advising team. Everyone has their expertise in their area, and so frequent communication with them, at least once a semester, will keep them on track and in the know. And the last tip I give for all new students is keep organized. It's a new school. There's a lot of new things to learn about it. There's an academic calendar, there's events, and having a nice calendar on the phone or on their laptops, even, I'm a pen and paper kind of gal, keeping it written down helps keep them organized, especially when it comes for keeping up with exams and papers and all the other fun things on campus. I look forward to your questions and nice meeting you all.
Thank you. And now we're going to hear from our undergraduate colleges.
Great, thanks, Megan. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Peter Francis, and I am the lead college advisor in undergraduate colleges. Thank you for being here today. And I'll talk a little bit more about what undergraduate colleges I work out of later on when I introduce all the other advisors and what colleges they work out of. But basically, undergraduate colleges, or the acronym UGC, is the primary office for first year students. We're the first year student experience. So, it's a very diverse learning community that we strive to connect students to campus resources, faculty, staff, and peers. So our goal in undergraduate colleges is helping students throughout their first year transition from high school to college. And all first year students, residential and commuter students, are part of the undergraduate college community. So for the first year at Stony Brook, you'll be working with us as in the undergraduate colleges office. So next slide, Megan. So let's talk a little bit about how we look to connect students to faculty and staff and peers and whatnot. So one of many things that we do in our office is, of course, academic advising, but we're more than just academic advising. We're really the primary support for first year students in talking about anything that really comes up in the first year, whether it be thinking about a major, thinking about minor, directing you to resources on campus, pretty much anything. I mean, Stony Brook's a huge university with many, many students. So, realizing that sometimes students can get lost in all that, we are the one office that is the hub for support and for direction. And again, our goal is to help in that transition from high school to college. So, and we'll talk more about that later on as well. One of the other things we like to do is we want to have events and programs on campus that connect students to their peers and to the university, and also in line with the theme of their UGC. So we do hold a lot of different events and programs on campus throughout the semesters, fall and spring, throughout the year. One thing we do have is like Spirit Week, where there's a lot of fun things going on, where it's a kind of a friendly little competition between the UGCs, but we'll have that again this year, I'm sure, coming up in the fall. And then also we hold what's called SBU 101, which are very small seminar courses. You won't really get more than 20 students in a class. And again, as a huge university, it's the one class that we feel students love going to because it's a small class. It's everyone within their UGC. We work on a lot of different topics: time management, community engagement. There's a project that goes with the 101 class as well, with career development, health and wellness, registration support. Just as we're getting into the middle of the semester, we talk about how to register for the spring of the following year. So and each class has a fellow, which is a TA, who was a first year student a year ago. So that's another support system for students in their first year, between our office, between the fellow in their 101 class, the instructor, and each other as classmates. You can move on to the next slide. Right. So these are the 3 undergraduate colleges, and each one is attached to a certain community. So the first undergraduate college is Creativity, Technology, and Innovation, or acronym CTI. We like acronyms at Stony Brook. So if you hear CTI, that's the Creativity, Technology, Innovation. And that is housed in the Eleanor Roosevelt community. So students who are going to be in CTI will be living in that community. There are varying buildings within the community, but all CTI students will be in there who live on campus. Next, Global Health, Wellness, and Community, GWC, will be in the H community. And then Social Justice, Equity, and Ethics, SJE, will be living in the Mendelssohn community. So those are our 3 UGCs, and also what communities they're attached to for students living on campus. So next slide. So now I want to introduce you to the advisors for each UGC. To give you some idea, who would be the support person in CTI, there's Erica, Celeste, and Jess. So each one is equipped to help with any aspect of advising, with any questions you have in your first year at Stony Brook. And, and we're all working right now on preparing recommendations for your fall 2021 semester. So that includes, with AP scores and any college transcripts that you need to send, any placement exams that you still need to take. So Erica, Celeste, and Jess are working out of the CTI college. Next up is, next slide, is GWC advisors, Candace, Amy, and Sam. And again, working out of that college, any questions you have, if you're assigned to GWC, that would be your college. And I do want to say, I didn't mention this before, all students have been assigned to college their first or second choice. So every student, we try our best to give you the preference that you selected. So, I'm happy to say that all students have, if you filled out the preference form a few weeks back, you were given your first or second choice of UGC. And last but not least, and this is the college that I'm going to be advising out of, which is SJE, and myself and Lori and Amber as well. So all 9 of us work within undergraduate colleges, and we're all advisors for first-year students. Next screen. Yeah. So some successful things that we feel you should, keep in mind to be a successful Seawolf is one, and you could start doing this right now, is checking your Stony Brook email regularly, every day or at least every other day. Trying to get away from, even when you communicate with us, if you can do it through your Stony Brook email, that would be a big help. Trying to get away from emailing us on a personal email, because eventually, everything we send to you will be through your Stony Brook email. So it's good to start to get that practice right now. Participating actively in your SBU 101 class. Like I said before, it's a very small class, no more than 20 in it. I mean, students love that class. Out of all the classes, it's the one they like to go to. They look forward to it every week because they know it's a seminar class. So seminar is not a lecture. It's not, they're involved in the class, and the seminar class is one. A successful seminar class is one where all students and everyone's actively participating. So, we hope that you enjoy that as well. And also, getting to know your advisor, scheduling appointments with us. We'd love to meet with you, especially if things come up where you have questions, and, it's always good to see us as soon as possible. Sometimes, things may come up, and if you approach us and make appointments with us as soon as possible, we can fix things. Sometimes if you wait too long, it's hard to fix that after. But you should connect with your advisor, one of the 3 of us in the UGC, early on within the semester. Get to meet us and talk about, your plan for your next 4 years. Also, just knowing academic dates and deadlines, staying aware of dates and deadlines. Going to our registry, the bulletin on the website, making sure you know when you can make changes to your classes. Not that we encourage that, but the reality is you're able to do a little bit of shuffling of classes. You have like 2 weeks into the semester to make any changes if you always want to talk to an advisor first before you do that. But also deadlines about GPNCing and just a lot of other things, which you can see if you go on stonybrook.edu onto the registrar's website, and you'll see the academic calendar. There's a whole bunch of dates and deadlines you should be aware of. Being proactive, asking questions. Like I said before, it's always good to ask questions if things are coming up. If there are concerns, we can't help if we don't know what's going on. And then also, of course, using resources. There are so many resources that you'll get to learn about in your 101 class and through UGC. And then also visiting professors' office hours, which of course is invaluable, because professors want to see you. They want you to come to their office, to talk to them, to sit with them, especially within your major. The more they get to know you, the more beneficial it is for you later on down, as you become an upperclassman. And then that's it. I mean, basically, you can also just follow us on Twitter. And we are located in the Stony Brook Union, Suite 111. We just moved to a new building last year. So in the midst of everything with the pandemic, we did move over we were in the Melville Library, but now we're at the Stony Brook Union, Suite 111. So we encourage you, when you're on campus in the fall, to come visit us. Any students are out in the audience today. So that's it.
Thank you. And next up, we have our Academic Success and Tutoring Center.
Hi, everybody. I'm Shannon Jane. Excuse me. I'm the director of the Academic Success and Tutoring Center. We also call ourselves the ASTC, so we like acronyms as well. we offer a variety of services to support undergraduate students. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about our services. I'm also going to tell you about other resources on campus and where you can find information about those. And then I'm going to tell you about how you can potentially work for us and connect with your campus community and help other students. So we offer, as I mentioned, a variety of services for undergraduate students. So we have course-based tutoring, skill-based tutoring, peer-assisted learning or supplemental instruction, and a public speaking course that fulfills the SPEAK requirement, which is a general education requirement. So when you think about tutoring, you probably think about our course-based tutoring. So you're enrolled in a certain course and maybe you need extra support with certain course content. That is our course-based tutoring. All of our tutoring and all our services are actually provided by peers. So that means our tutors are students just like you. They've done well in the class. They have a faculty recommendation on file, and they're trained by us to work with their peers. Our services are appointment based. So just like with advising, you can actually log onto a system called Navigate, which you'll learn a lot about, and you can make appointments with tutors. They're typically one-on-one, but we do offer small group tutoring appointments as well. It's really based on your preference. We notice that people tend to like one-on-one appointments, but then they realize that it's really helpful to have other students there, because sometimes you don't know what you don't know until somebody else asks the question. So we do offer both one-on-one and small group tutoring. Small group is usually about 2 or 3 students. So that is our course-based tutoring. And now our tutors, obviously for course-based, are going to focus on that course content. And please don't think that you have to be struggling or doing poorly in a class to get course-based tutoring. Yes, if you're challenged, if you're struggling, you should, get assistance. But you can also use tutoring just to meet with another student who knows what it's like to be a student in that class and practice applying what you're learning in class. It's a really great way to just make sure you have a deep understanding of that material and that, you're keeping that material fresh in your brain throughout the semester. So our course-based tutors focus on course content, and then we have skill-based tutors. So these tutors actually will meet one-on-one with students. It's always one-on-one because it's very individualized, and they won't focus on content. Instead, they focus on general academic success strategies. So everything from time management, test-taking strategies, note-taking strategies, different study strategies, identifying and using campus resources. And this is a really great opportunity. What we notice is that sometimes, students will use different study strategies in high school, and then they come to college and they're not working as well. And maybe it's for one class, maybe it's for several classes, but it's really nice to sit down with another student and talk about different strategies that you can use. And what they'll do is they'll not only teach you how to study that way, but they'll also help you apply and practice. And then they'll come back and ask you to reflect on what's working, what's not, and why. So this is a really great opportunity, again, to just really focus in on your study strategies, your time management, your organizational skills. And those are skills that are going to help you in all of your classes. So again, both of those are appointment based. We do have some partnerships with different people on and off campus to offer drop-in course-based tutoring, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. So just keep that in mind. So in addition to our appointment-based tutoring, we also offer something called peer-assisted learning, or PAL, not to be confused with your pals from orientation, but we have PAL leaders, and these are students. So we offer peer-assisted learning or supplemental instruction for certain math courses. And these students have done well in the class. They have a faculty recommendation, and then they actually sit in on class again for this semester to figure out how the material is being taught this semester, because sometimes they may be learned it differently. Then they meet with a faculty member from the math department on a weekly basis to figure out what students are struggling with this semester. Then they meet with somebody from the tutoring center on a weekly basis to learn collaborative learning strategies. They hold weekly sessions where students can opt in, right? You don't have to go to these sessions, but you can join. And you basically have a really fun, informal environment that is facilitated by this PAL leader, where you will do different activities with the students in the class who are attending these sessions to get a deeper understanding of the material and work through some of the challenging material. So again, that's peer-assisted learning, or our PAL program. And if you are enrolled in any of the math classes that we support, you'll hear from your PAL leader in the beginning of the semester, and the instructor will also either post information on Blackboard or send it to you in another way. So all of our services, so our tutoring and our peer-assisted learning, in the past, they were always in person. This past year, we transitioned and did everything online. For this fall semester, what we're hoping to do, and this is all subject to change, and we'll be able to confirm this closer to the fall, but we're hoping to actually offer a variety, so a mix, some in-person and some remote, to just accommodate as many students as possible. So definitely check out our website and keep up to date with the changes that we're making as we're confirming those details. Now, that final service that I mentioned is a class. Actually, it's ASC 101. This is a public speaking class. So as I mentioned, all students are required as part of your general education requirements, you fulfill a speak requirement. So this is like a public speaking requirement. And you can do that in a variety of ways. And one way is to enroll in our course. This is a very small course. There's only 9 people in the class with 2 instructors, and it only meets for 6 weeks. So it's 0 credits. Again, that sounds weird, I get it, but it's because it does fulfill that speak requirement. And it gives students a really just friendly, welcoming, supportive environment to practice public speaking. You can love public speaking and attend this class. You can be terrified of public speaking and do well in this class because again, it's very supportive, very small, and a really friendly environment. So those are the majority of our services. You can go to our website and kind of stay up to date with what we're offering and how we're offering it. But in addition to what we offer, as I mentioned, we have partnerships on and off campus. So one of the things that we do is we partner with other SUNY campuses through a program called Star New York. So when our services kind of shut down for the day around 8:30 at night, you can actually get free online tutoring Sunday through Thursday. And that is, it goes until midnight. What's really great about that is depending on the night, you might be working with somebody from Stony Brook, but if we don't have people available, you could be working with other SUNY tutors or faculty. And there's a variety of topics that you can get support with. So that is, again, it's always been online, and it will always remain online because that's an online service, but it's drop in and you can get help as you need it. We also have a partnership with the residential tutoring centers on our campus. So they offer drop-in evening tutoring for select math and science classes. Now we help them with recruiting, hiring, and training the tutors. So you'll get the same level of service regardless of the place that you go. In addition to that, we have other places on campus where you can get support. So we have learning centers and help rooms. Those are always coordinated by the academic departments. So we don't coordinate those, but we have all of their information on our website. So you can go to one place and find out all the services on campus. We also have a writing center on campus. So if you need support with your writing for any of your classes, you can attend a tutoring session through the writing center. And again, just go to our website and you can find, how to make an appointment. So those are our services. Those are our partnerships. And now I'd like to talk about how you can maybe become a peer tutor. So as you're, transitioning to our campus and becoming a Stony Brook University student, you're a Seawolf now, so welcome. Now, a lot of students want to get connected to the campus community, and our center, we actually hire about 120 students every semester. So this is a really great way to not only earn some money, right? It's a job, but you can do it while helping other students and while keeping the course content fresh in your mind. So as you move up to upper division classes, it's really good to have a way of retaining all that information you learned in your lower level, entry level classes. If you're thinking about taking the MCATs, this is a really good way to keep that fresh in your mind. If you're planning on going to grad school, I know for some people that's really far away, but these are all things that you can keep in mind now. And again, have a job, connect to campus, and help other students all at the same time. We actually pay for training as well. So we offer a full, training program, and our training is certified by the College Reading and Learning Association. So we have all 3 levels of tutor certification. And as you earn certification, you earn raises too. So there's some motivation there. So please check out our website, ask any questions that you have. You can always email us as well at tutoringcenter@stonybrook.edu, and we'll be able to answer any of your questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And last but not least, we have our Student Accessibility Support Center.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kathy Paterno, and I'm a student accessibility counselor. So the Student Accessibility Support Center has just moved as well to the new union. We're in Suite 107. And why we're here is to assist students with disabilities that have, for instance, IEPs in high school or 504 plans. So we want to make sure that when you start at Stony Brook, and you set up your schedule, that we have a chance to meet with you. So basically what we do is we get involved with an interactive process. So what does that mean? That means that just reach out to our office. You can go to our website as well, and you can fill out an intake right on our website, and someone will get in touch with you, as well as we need documentation to support your academic needs and sometimes their housing needs. All right. Another big thing to know is we also work with students with temporary disabilities. So that could be someone that slips on the ice and maybe injures their ankle and they're on crutches. So they might need some assistance navigating campus. And we have a way through paratransit to get you from building to building from your dorm, or if you're a commuter, to meet you where you're going to park in the P lot and bring you around to all the different buildings. So our services are provided. They're mandated by the federal government that we're here. So we're always here. We're open 12 months a year. And I want to make sure that you know that each semester, one of our counselors will be meeting with you. So of course, through COVID, it was online and through Zooms and through telephone calls. But in the fall, we're hoping beyond hope. As Shannon said, things change all the time, but we're hoping beyond hope that we get to meet you in person, and we'll be back. As a matter of fact, I'm already back. I asked to come back, so I'm in the office full time now, and we'll be here ready to answer any of your questions that you might have regarding your courses, your majors, and what you utilized in high school and how that will apply to post-secondary, because there are some changes from high school to university accommodations, and we'll go over everything with you in detail. And as I said, it's something that we're here as a support to you, and always to remember that each time you have a new course or a new professor, you're going to want to let us know so that we reach out to them and we let them know what your academic accommodations are, as well as we work with students regarding housing accommodations. So that's something, once again, that is based on documentation and the interactive process. We want to meet you, we want to have a conversation, we want to know what your needs are, and we want to put those in place with you for an easy transition, and to know that we're here throughout your Stony Brook career. So that means that we're here, you're coming in as a new freshman or as a transfer or as a master's student. We follow our students undergraduate, graduate, doctoral, medical school, on and on and on. So we're built-in support. We're under the student affairs. So with us is the Dean of Students, Student Health, and the Counseling Center. So we really have a huge umbrella, and we're here for you. Okay. So if you have a concern or a question, we want you to bring them to us. And if you have something that's worrying you, concerning you, we have the same concern then. And we want to make sure that we reach out to whomever we need to reach out to resolve it. All right. So once again, we're at 107, Suite 107 in the new Student Union. And I look forward to seeing you in person. Thank you.
Thank you. So now we're going to ask our PALs, our peer assistant leaders, to chime in. So Divya, I'd like to invite you to just share a little bit about your experience here academically at Stony Brook, and any tips that you have to be academically successful.
Sure, thank you. Hi everyone, my name is Divya Shitala. My pronouns are she or hers, and I'm currently double majoring in applied math and statistics and information systems at SBU. I have been a first year international student at SBU, and it's been a great experience so far. I feel like, how much you involve in the university is what you get back. Because from my first year of college, like from my orientation, like I've been really involved in a lot of things, from meeting my orientation leaders to the staff members, and just trying to get as much information as possible, and trying new different ways to get involved on campus. I also find the academic success and the tutoring center a great resource, because during my first semester, I was like, I needed a little bit of help with my classes. So that's where I reached out first and I got like really good help. And from my second semester, I applied to be a peer tutor and I've been working there for about 2 years now. So that's definitely a great resource. And I would recommend all the students to, reach out to the ASTC and make use of the services. Um, because when you're struggling with something, like don't just do it yourself, like reach out for help because there are a lot of resources to help you out. And the other tip I would like to give is get more involved on campus. um, when you get involved on campus, you learn a lot of skills. Like before coming here, I was never involved in a lot of leadership positions. So that's when I took up the orientation leader position, and that's when I became more confident about myself. I really lost fear in public speaking, and now I feel really comfortable with talking with like huge number of audience. So just come out of your comfort zone and try to challenge yourself with new things. So that will help you improve yourself, and it'll make you a better person. So that's what I have.
Thank you. And now I'd like to turn it over to Katie to add in, who's also another peer assistant leader.
Hi, I'm Katie. My pronouns are she, her, hers. A lot of what Divya said is very like my experience as well. I didn't do a lot of leadership positions in high school either, and coming to Stony Brook and like getting involved was definitely very helpful. We have tons of resources that'll like, besides just getting involved with orientation, but the UGCs mentioned their fellowship program. I've been a part of that before. And if you're looking to get involved or looking to get like some experience in like a teaching environment, definitely look into doing that. For academic success, I have found that going to general advising helped me a lot when I had just general questions about my schedule. I struggle a lot with making sure I'm staying on task and very much like on the right path of where I need to go, and not just adding all my classes in and being like, I'm done, this is what I'm doing. So general advising has been very helpful with making sure that I'm going in the right direction. As well as I know my roommate, her first year did a lot of the skills tutoring to help her get herself organized. And I got to get that secondhand, which was very nice. And now I have like 5 different planners and bullet journals that keep me organized for over the past year. So if I could recommend anything for academic success, is definitely keeping your life a little bit organized in whatever way possible. You don't want to end like a little bit and then realize you have no idea what classes you need to take next semester or any of your assignments that you need to get done throughout the year. So I definitely recommend getting all that information you need, keeping it somewhere, keeping it safe, and staying organized.
Thank you, Katie. All right, so I want to encourage the questions to continue coming in. We're trying to get to everything that we can on the back end. I do have some on-camera questions that I'm going to ask as well, that I think will be helpful based on questions that other students have asked. All right, so I guess this would really apply to all departments, but I guess we'll get started with our academic advisors, particularly for UGC and ATAS. When would a student expect to hear from your office, especially at the new student point in the game? When would they expect to get more information about their schedule or contact with an advisor? Peter, would you like to start?
Sure. Well, we're going to be holding enrollment registration workshops throughout the whole summer, July and August. They're going to be mostly on Tuesdays and Thursdays throughout the summer. And they're going to be like 9:30 to 12:30 and then 1:30 to 4:30. So you'll be assigned a date for that. It's going to be virtual. It's going to be a virtual registration workshop. Right now we have student registration assistants working on, based on our recommendations. We're looking at everything: your AP scores, your college credits from high school, your scores on math placement, if you took the the online chem placement exam if you need to take chemistry. So as advisors, we're making recommendations. Then the registration assistants are starting to register students for some of the major requirements, like the maths, like a writing course, like a chemistry course. And then the SBC courses, we're making recommendations for. Those are the Stony Brook curriculum courses and the 101 class that I mentioned before. And during the registration workshop in the summer, you're going to be selecting your courses, of interest. So maybe, there's like 39 credits of SBCs you need to take, and maybe we're recommending that you take a course in global studies or in US history or in technology, and then you'll get to select exactly what course you want under that SBC guise, and then your 101 class as well. So, be on the lookout for emails from us. I know I can't speak for the other UGCs, but I know SJE, Social Justice, Equity, and they're new UGC, so forgive me, I'm learning all these acronyms again. We already sent out emails to students telling them when their dates are. We start July 13th. That's the first one. I think that's the first one. They go right into August. Like I said, twice a week. You'll attend one. You'll be assigned one date, and you'll be a participant in selecting courses. But we're going to be helping with, like I said, the major required courses, the maths, the chems, the writing, and different courses like that. But also just, make sure you take your placement exams, get your AP scores sent to us. I know 2021, there's a little bit of a lag, but if you took them in 19 and 20, that you should be able to send them right now, ASAP. And any college transcripts, remember they go through the college you went to, not through your high school guidance. So if you went to, Suffolk Community College, or you took a course through Hofstra or through, NYU or wherever, you have to reach out to that college. It's not done through the guidance department in your high school. So get those college transcripts. The more information we have when we're making recommendations for the fall, the better, obviously with placement exam scores and where you are as far as math and stuff like that. So just be on the lookout for those emails about when your registration date's going to be, all on Zoom, all virtual this year. And like I said, you will have a voice in an active selection of the SBCs, which are the Stony Brook curriculum courses, and then your 101 section, what day and time you want that to be.
Thank you. And Shalini, would you be able to add a little bit from the academic transfer advising services office? Thank you.
Sure. So we are in the thick of reaching out to students. Soon as we know that you're accepting your acceptance into Stony Brook or reaching out, you'll get a series of emails from our department. The first email you may get talks about your placement exams. And as Peter said, we need that information to help you register. So check your personal and your Stony Brook email. If you don't know your Stony Brook email, that's fine. We'll send it to your personal one too, letting you know of what you need to do in order to register. So you will get a chart that lets you know what placement exams you need to complete, or if you don't need to complete any at all. Once all placement exams are completed, you will get another email that says you are now ready to register for your first semester. And that email, and after that, you'll get another email that tells you the Zoom information, who you'll be meeting with, how to register, transfer credit information. So we are moving through it. I don't have an exact date, like you'll hear exactly in 3 days. I don't have it, but I can assure you that we are moving through that list. We have started registration now, actually. We're doing it all throughout June, a few weeks in July, and we're doing it also in August. So we are moving through it. The quickest way to get your registration date is to do the placement exams as soon as possible. I know sometimes people want to, I want to wait to take the math placement exam, but the sooner you finish your placement exams, the quicker you will get a registration date from us. So you can start registering for the fall semester.
Thank you. So for our Student Accessibility and Support Center and our Academic and Tutoring Center, can you talk about maybe the recommended timeline to reach out to your area and then the expected timeline to receive or get services implemented?
Okay, I guess I'll go first. We're seeing students over the summer. We have been seeing them, prospective students, since like April for this coming fall. So whenever you want to reach out to us, give us a call, send us an email at the sasse.edu email, and someone will make an appointment for you. There's the intake that's on our website that you can complete. So we have information regarding what you'll be looking for, as well as I mentioned that you'll provide documentation from your treating doctor or treating professional. But let's get that conversation started early. So whenever you're available to meet, let us know. We have 3 counselors. We'll definitely get you in to meet with someone early on. Thank you.
At the Academic Success and Tutoring Center, we say the earlier the better, right? You never want to wait until it's too, I don't want to say too late, but you don't want to wait until, you know, you get that test grade back and you're like, wow, maybe I should have gotten support before now. You know, and again, as I mentioned, you don't have to be struggling. So even if you're thinking, hey, I just want to really think about this course material a little bit deeper, do it as soon as possible. Our schedule usually opens up the second week of class. So this year, this fall will be Monday, August 30th. And we book up pretty quickly. So it is in your best interest to log on that day and look for open appointments. We do have, like you'll see on our website, just some more information about, you know, if you want your appointment to be weekly, if you want it to be one time, kind of what you do on the system. So again, look at our website for that, but mark right now on your calendars, Monday, August 30th, so that you have that, you know, in your planner and you're thinking about, again, signing up for tutoring as soon as possible. And then when it comes for the peer assisted learning, again, you're going to learn about that in the very beginning of your class. And then the sessions usually start the second or third week of classes. I think it was third because we need enough material to actually have those sessions. So again, look on our website, you'll see all of our information about how to join those sessions, whether they're in person or via Zoom.
Thank you. All right. It looks like all the questions in the chat are going right now, so we'll keep going on these questions. I guess, what is the timeline for implementation, like of students to receive credit evaluations? I know it'll take a little bit of time. So if a student is submitting their transcript to the university, what is the expected turnaround time for them to then see how that applies at Stony Brook?
You want me to take that?
Sure.
So my department handles transfer credits. Again, I can't give you a guaranteed timeline. We are moving through transcripts as efficiently as possible. And I don't want to say quickly because we do take time to make sure things are done correctly, but as efficiently as possible. For incoming transfer students, when it is time for you to register for your first semester, your registration advisor will be giving you a transfer credit summary sheet. And that covers all the credits that you've taken at previous schools that you've told us about. And it will explain how those credits have entered Stony Brook. I said all the credits you told us about because sometimes students forget to send us a transcript. So again, picking off what Peter has said, if you took a college class while in high school, so if you went to a local high school here, but you took a class at St. Joe's, you need to have St. Joe's send us that transcript. Every school, every college, if you took a college level course, you must send that to us for us to evaluate it to see if you're eligible for college credit. If you don't tell us, we don't know about it. So for transfer students, you will get that information actually before registration. When it's time for you to register, a registration advisor will send you an email and they would attach that form to the sheet. I can't tell you exactly when it will be processed because like I said, we're moving through it as efficiently as we can. But a nice answer for that would be once you finish your placement exams and you are assigned a registration date, then you'll get an email with that document attached. Also, for students who are playing around with solar and getting familiar with it, your transfer credits, once they are articulated, they will show on your transcript on solar. So you can see it on there. I do recommend you wait to speak with your advisor to fully understand what that means because it may not be as easy to understand seeing it on solar, but an advisor can walk you through it.
Thank you. And Chelene, this might be another you question. I'm getting a lot of questions in the Q&A section just regarding placement exams in general. And what is the general policy if a student is not sure if they should take them, or how will they find out if they need to take it, and where can they get the results?
So for transfer students, if you need it, we will tell you. The emails going out to all our students is, we made it as clear as possible. There will be a chart, and in that chart, it will show all the placement exams, whether it's the language placement exam, the math placement exam, and the chemistry online placement and preparation, and the writing placement exam. So it will show all those exams, and next to it, it will say, take now or don't need. So it'll be really clear what you must complete and what must be completed immediately. So for example, what's completed immediately or not. If certain majors require that you take math, and you need that because it's a prerequisite for things. So I'll pick on biology. Biology students must have math and they must have chemistry, especially if they're taking general chemistry courses. So your email from my department will say OCPP, or online chemistry placement and preparation, must take. If it's a math course that you need to take here, it will say math placement exam must take, and it will have instructions on there. And we're trying to get you to do it sooner than later to get an earlier registration date. But our emails will be very clear on what you need to take and when.
Thank you. I'd like to ask our different areas some advice that you have for any of our family members and supporters that are listening, to kind of how they can help support their student with their academic success. Obviously, many students are still commuting. There will be just as many students on campus. But then also, like, is there any advice for students, and maybe things that they should speak to their family members about to kind of set up the expectations of what their roles and responsibilities are to their academics at this point in time? So do any of our departments or our PALs have any advice on families and supporters being supported to their student, and or students communicating with their families about their academic needs?
Yeah, I mean, I would say basically, the student has to learn to be an advocate for themselves. I know that might be difficult to do, transitioning from high school to college. And in high school, there's a lot of different avenues where a student can get info. But in this case, it's really up to them to come to the advisor, go to the professor, go for tutoring. No one's going to be on their back as much to say, oh, maybe you should go for tutoring. I mean, I always tell students, especially with math, if you know you have struggles with math, if you know that, don't wait for the first test, don't wait for the first grade, do it immediately, start registering to get tutoring in math immediately, because that if that's a concern of yours, be proactive about it. And then also just, explore different, especially with the SBCs, they are a little bit out of the major. I know sometimes students will be like, well, why do I have to take this? And why do I have to take that? That's not my major. But like any college you go to, it's more than just your major courses. You have to take courses outside of your degree for a well-rounded education, and just be open to varying courses that maybe you never would have thought you would have ever in your wildest dreams thought about taking. But you don't know, it might open up the door for a minor, it might open up the door for a lot of different things, maybe a double major. And just from a parent's perspective, I guess also just be open to the fact that the student may have one major in mind today, but by the end of the full semester, they may decide that's not the major for them. And that's a good thing in the first year, to be able to explore and to, test the waters and see, is this major right for me? Am I right for it? Better to start to understand that in the first semester or two than, when you're a junior, senior, and then it's like, what am I doing in this major when I totally can't stand it? So just be open to a lot of different things on both sides, courses and just different things like that.
I'd like to add to that, just to kind of second what Peter said, there will be a point where you're challenged, right, as a Stony Brook student, and that's okay. That's actually a good thing. We don't want you to leave Stony Brook with a degree and say, that was easy, I was never challenged, right? So it's part of the learning process. And I think, that could be a struggle for some students who maybe didn't feel that challenge in the past. So number one, embracing that challenge and realizing that it's part of the learning process. And that's where you have to ask for help. So like Peter said, in high school, or maybe for transfer students in your other institution, maybe, people would reach out to you. Really here, just recognize that we have a lot of support services for you, right? It's our job to challenge you and to support you, but it's your job to recognize that you need that support and ask us for it, because we are here for you. So for parents, if you're noticing that your student is struggling with that challenge, just encouraging them, hey, it's time to reach out. It's time to use those resources, but letting the student do that. That isn't your responsibility to now reach out to the tutoring center and start to try to schedule appointments for them. We want the student to be doing that. And then the other thing I would say is just recognizing that the transition to Stony Brook and to being a college student, it's going to be time consuming. So your student might not have as much available time as they used to. And now with this interesting dynamic of some students, being ready to come on campus and some staying back and living at home, maybe when they wouldn't, that wasn't their plan originally. I think it's really important for both the student and the parents and family members to recognize that your student, even though they are present, doesn't necessarily mean that they're available, and that might mean that they miss dinner because they're in a class, and being supportive of that and not putting extra pressure on them to be in multiple places at one time. And if your student, for any of your family members, if your student is now living away and living on campus, recognizing that just because they're not answering your phone call right now doesn't mean that they're ignoring you. They have a lot on their plate and they're trying to juggle everything. So being just encouraging and supportive of that, I think it is really important when it comes to supporting your students.
Thank you. One of the questions, is there any way to get a one-time tutoring session?
Yeah, absolutely. So we typically have a system in the beginning of the semester where you can, opt to have it weekly. And we highly recommend that because, you build that relationship with your tutor and you're consistently working on that coursework. But we definitely offer one-time appointments as well. If appointment-based isn't your thing, again, we have that drop-in. So that might be more along the lines of what you're looking for, where, hey, I'm working on something. Oh, I'm studying and I realize I need help right now. We have those drop-in sessions. So it's either the one-time appointment or drop-in sessions for anybody who doesn't want that consistent weekly appointment.
All right, so that wraps up our questions. I just want to ask everyone on the call today if you have any additional advice that you did not get to share, both from your professional experience, your student experience, from whatever hat you wear at Stony Brook to help our students and families to be successful here academically, families in supporting their student, obviously, not doing the coursework.
Well, I just want to share that I think fall 2021 is going to be a new normal. And we always say that our students, especially the students that are registered with our office, it's a 4 to 5 week transition. It's all new. You're meeting students and individuals from all over the world. The students that are dorming on campus. Dorming is a different kind of cat, acclimating to dining halls and the rec center and, academic success and tutoring, signing up for a tutor. So in our office with our students, we pretty much stay to family members, and especially this year, I know a lot of times they say when you start at the university, now you're an adult. Well, we want our parents to stay initially a little close, because if you're noticing anything, our services in student affairs, we have the counseling center, we have student health. We want our students to feel comfortable to come to us and say, if they're having a difficulty. We might have students that normally would not have the freshman class and transfer students because of what we've all been through. So I just want to put that out there. I guess patience, flexibility, and understanding and sharing is going to be essential for fall 2021 and forward.
From a student, give it time, I guess, is kind of like my best advice. It's always just give it some time. Sometimes you'll get into a class and you'll go through the first 2 days and you're like, I don't know if I can do this. And then but sometimes if you give it a little bit more time and you really start to like get into the flow of things, you find out, okay, maybe I can actually do this. And I was just kind of scared by 500 other people in the same class as I am. A lot of things are an adjustment period, as Kathleen mentioned. Like you really have to adjust to everything going on. If you're living on campus, you're going to adjust not living with your supporters at home, and your family members and your supporters are going to have to adjust to you not being around. So your first year at Stony Brook is just going to be one giant adjustment period from the last thing you were doing to now, whether you're a first year student or a transfer student. But just always keep in mind that patience is key, and give yourself some time to adapt and to adjust to your new life at Stony Brook, essentially.
Yeah, and other advice that I would want to give is make sure that you reach out to your advisors regularly. Like, when you're scheduling your courses for the coming semester, make sure that you always meet with your advisor once and, take their advice on, what the schedule is like, if you're actually taking all the required courses and if you're covering everything up in the right way. Because sometimes we just try to do it all by ourselves and we could miss few of the required courses. So to just avoid those mistakes, make sure that you reach to your advisors beforehand. Yeah, and the other one is there could be a lot of people around you who might be more good at you at the things that they're doing. I would just say that every person is different and they're good at different things, so don't just compare yourself to anyone and just feel like, okay, I'm not doing well or I'm doing something less. Everyone, you're not on race with someone else. Just go in your own pace and just be satisfied with what you're doing.
All right. Thank you everyone for your time today. We're going to go ahead and wrap up at this time. I do just want to encourage at any point, if you do have any questions, please reach out to a resource. Even if you're not sure where to start, find a department and ask them, and they'll take the time to get you the right information and the right kind of place to go from there. But if you're ever not sure, pick one of us, start with one of us, and we'll help get you to the right place. I also want to draw attention to our additional upcoming virtual Q&A sessions just like this. So this is just one of many topics that we have. We have more about involvement. We have commuting to campus, living on campus, health services. Our counseling center is going to be on a call. So there's a ton of resources. We also have a lot of student panels. So the same way we've got staff members and students on this call, we have a couple of these sessions just dedicated to having some student panel conversation. These are really driven by your question and answers. So we encourage you to tune in for as many topics as you can throughout the course of the summer. And we're all here to help you be successful. So please just keep that in mind if you're ever unsure of what to do or where to go or who to ask. Just pick someone to start with and we'll be able to help get you where you need to go from there. So thank you to all of our panelists. Thank you to everyone that asks questions. We are hopefully going to see you in some future sessions with us, and welcome to Stony Brook. Thanks.